The exploration of space, particularly human exploration of Mars, has intrigued generations around the world. Our sister planet holds many mysteries and quite possibly the keys to our past and our future. The profound goal of putting humans on Mars and perhaps establishing a settlement there fuels our desire to push the boundaries of what is possible and to reach far beyond our planet. Space exploration is simply in our DNA. Americans of all ages have watched on their black and white TVs as Neil Armstrong stepped onto the surface of the moon. Our collective interests have not waned since that time. However, we now watch in full color and high definition as we launch off our planet, land a rover on Mars, and see our astronauts on the International Space Station do an EVA to assemble an orbital space laboratory. Enabled by the unwavering dedication and hard work of countless thousands who have contributed to the historical successes and immeasurable benefits that spaceflight and exploration have brought humanity. Last year's cinematic blockbuster, The Martian, based on a book written by Andy Weir, one of our witnesses today, wrote about the challenges of an astronaut faced in order to survive the hostile environment of Mars, faced with much hostility. This concept is directly related to the topic of our hearing, examining the challenges and discussing what it is going to take to turn this science fiction into a reality, as we hope to do in the years ahead. One of the foremost requirements for success in such a profound endeavor is the support of Congress, and undoubtedly bipartisan, bicameral support is strongly behind this goal. In fact, bipartisan support for our spaceflight and exploration programs is so strong that the 2016 NASA Authorization Act passed the House by a unanimous voice vote. In this turbulent political climate, a vote like that is very exceptional for any agency. The House's intent is clear, and I strongly urge our colleagues in the Senate to join us by taking up and passing a NASA authorization bill this year. Doing so in this election year is particularly important as it will provide NASA programs the stability that they need through the uncertainty that results during the transition of presidential administrations. One of the most critical capabilities needed to sustain humans for a journey to Mars is a habitat. Without a viable habitat to protect our astronauts from the inhospitable environment of space, we cannot achieve our goals for human deep space exploration. Congress demonstrated its very strong support of space exploration last year in passing the most significant update to commercial space law in decades, and also by providing robust and increased funding levels for NASA exploration programs. In the 2016 appropriations, Congress directed NASA to invest no less than $55 million for the development of a habitation augmentation module to maximize the potential of the SLS Orion architecture in deep space, and to develop a prototype module no later than 2018. Astronaut Scott Kelly's nearly year-long mission aboard the International Space Station has provided substantial scientific data which we continue to assess related to the physiological and psychological impacts humans face during long-duration space missions. However, much research still needs to be done to develop systems and operations to mitigate these impacts for sustaining crew health. And for this reason, it is critical that the ISS be fully utilized through 2024. We know what goal that we want to achieve, putting humans on Mars. But what continues to be unclear is the detailed plan. How are we going to accomplish this bold and challenging goal? What are the requisite precursor missions, the technologies, sustaining systems, and habitation requirements and current capabilities? Until this detailed plan is outlined, there are many unknowns. But what we do know is that NASA will need habitation, and there are many questions that surround this requirement. How will NASA acquire habitation? How will development be funded? Will NASA develop the capability by contracting with a company on a cost-plus basis, as it did for the programs of the past? Or will they seek to procure habitation as a service by leveraging previous development work? Will NASA use public-private partnerships? And if so, how will NASA divide the investments? How will it treat the intellectual property? And will the taxpayer get a deal on the price if it contributes to the development? We have tremendous lessons learned related to systems development, along with the pros and cons of various acquisition approaches. Regardless of the ultimate decision, the acquisition parameters and requirements must be clear before any action is taken. NASA simply doesn't have the time nor the budget to experiment on unproven acquisition models. It's long past time to apply the lessons learned and make that decision based on what is most assured and efficient way for NASA to acquire this capability. Whatever NASA proposes, I sincerely hope that it will be in the best interests of our American taxpayers. It would be a shame if we repeat the mistakes of the past, government paying for the development of habitation capabilities and then turn around and pay again to procure the service from the same provider. NASA's decisions on make or buy will be critical. Is it possible that industry may be able to provide turnkey, cost-effective services that are developed with minimal taxpayer support? Is there a market for low Earth orbit habitats sufficient to support a post-ISS paradigm, which can be leveraged for deep space habit requirements? We are an exceptional nation of doers, and as we forge a path through the high ground of space on our journey to Mars, I have strong faith in the ingenuity of American scientists, engineers, and the entire industry to address the challenges posed by deep space exploration and to develop the spaceflight systems needed to reach our goals in a safe, sustainable, and affordable way. I'm pleased to welcome our witnesses, and I look forward to hearing their perspectives as to how NASA should consider acquiring habitation goods and services to meet the future mission requirements. And thank you all for participating. And Mr. Weir, I'd like to personally thank you for your captivating work, The Martian. It has everyone talking about Mars, which I believe brings us one step closer to making science fiction science fact. Thank you.